everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons race description. And today's race, from the Races of the Dragon, is the Spellscale. Now, the Spellscale, that picture is one of many. There are so many pictures. They're all very different. It's actually really hard to determine which picture to go with. This one was just the biggest that actually really showed them well. There's a bigger picture, but all the spell scales are a lot smaller in the picture, so yeah. Anyways, it's a very interesting race. So let's talk about them a little bit. There's a lot to go over here. They're a pretty good race too, all in all. So let's start with it. So they get a +2 to charisma, which is nice. There's not a whole lot of races that give mental stat buffs, especially not ones with no level adjustment, which these do not have. They do take a -2 to con, though, so that kind of sucks. I mean, con's your health, so these guys, they die a little bit easy, but they get a lot of things that kind of make up for that. So they're medium, nothing special there. Most races are. Baseline speed 30 feet. Again, nothing special. That's pretty standard, typical stuff. They have low light vision. They can basically just see twice as far as humans in low light. Kind of cool, not the greatest. So they're humanoid dragon blood, so they basically count as dragons for most spells and stuff like that. Now, the next one's an interesting one. It's Blood-Quickening. We'll get to that in a sec, because that lets them once per day do a thing that gives them benefits, and those benefits get better as they level up. We'll get to that in a sec, since that's really complicated. So we'll stick with the simple basic stuff for now. Automatic languages, common and draconic, makes sense. Favorite class sorcerer, again, makes sense. They're basically dragon, they're dragon blood, so that's not too crazy. So, in terms of age, that's when it comes to their physical features, like age, they hit adulthood at like 12, so it's not that unusual to see like 13-year-old dragon scales going out into the world. Like, that's just not unheard of at all. That's pretty normal. But they also don't become middle-aged until the same age as humans, actually. But they don't. Then they don't become old till 70. 35 is middle age, by the way, and venerable at 140. So that's way higher. They hit old the same time humans hit venerable, and then they don't hit venerable if they're 140, and then 2d10 years after. So they got another 20 years after that. So once they hit venerable, they die fairly quick. Well, I guess not too terrible. So their lifespans are a little longer than humans, but they mature also faster, which is kind of good, at least compared to a human. Definitely good. Now, let's talk about the Blood-Quickening. So Blood-Quickening is complicated. So basically, once per day, they can do a meditation. And this meditation varies. There are a number of them. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different meditations that they can choose to do every day. They don't have to do one every day, but it makes sense. I mean, you don't lose anything for doing that other than an hour of your time. So it makes a lot of sense to do it. Yeah, especially seeing as you'll probably be a sorcerer, and sorcerers don't really need to spend time preparing or any of that, so they can, do this instead of like what wizards do and a lot of other casters. So yeah. So these benefits give a number of different things. You can get basically 2d6 extra damage to good creatures or evil creatures for Bahamut and Tiamat, respectively. You can get, it really depends on which draconic deity you want to meditate to. Because you're meditating to them. You're not praying to them. You're basically doing a meditation in honor and reverence of this dragon deity, and then that, in doing so, you will gain benefits related to said dragon deity. And the meditations can be different. Like, they give 2 different examples for each meditation, and they're very different. And in all honesty, there doesn't have to be those two. Those are just two sample examples. It can literally be anything that fits. Like, if you can make an argument that it fits that deity, it works. Like, it's really that simple. And you gain all sorts of cool different benefits, and they do scale with your level. So in basically your standard ways. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting ones. Let's see, I read through these not too long ago. So like, you can gain bonuses on checks. You can gain extra damage on spells, like I just said. You can get some meta magic feats for free, only a couple of times per day, but you basically gain the benefit of a meta magic feat, and it can be different every day. So maybe one day you want this feat, maybe another day you want that feat. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. There's a lot to it. I don't, for interest of time, like these, I don't want to go like too crazy long on this video to go over every little, you know, I don't want to go over every little thing. You can read up on it. It's all on page 25 of the Races of the Dragon, so you can check that yourself. But there's a lot of different things you can get, and these classes, this race has more flavor than possibly any other race in the game. Maybe not, it's at least up there. Like, it's a good race. Like, the fact that it gets, you know, these meditations are nice. Even without that, it'd be pretty good just to get that +2 to charisma. And you know, they're pretty good all around. No, like, there's nothing amazing about them without that. But although with that, it's pretty good. But they get a lot of good stuff, and they don't lose a lot for it. Like, it's pretty standard. And getting bonuses to mental stats is pretty impressive, especially if you want to be a caster. So yeah, that's definitely good. Also good for certain builds, certain paladin type builds, and there's various things where you can add charisma to like saves. If you wanted to go one of those builds, Spellscale's not a bad race to go with, because you get that extra +2, so that would basically make all your saves 1 higher or 2 higher if you're really cheesing it to gain to be able to add double your charisma to your saves. Anyways, so what makes these guys have so much flavor is they're just so flamboyant. Like, this race is really known for just being really flamboyant. It is, yeah, like, not to get too crazy on it, but it reminds me a little bit of what's somewhat stereotypical of, you know, the gay culture. Like, they're known for their flamboyancy. Like, these guys also are known for that same thing. They dress well. They like to wear, you know, to break trends and wear things that aren't exactly normal. So it's kind of like Met Gala kind of stuff. You see people wearing, like, it's that kind of stuff. These guys, like the freakishly wealthy people who just go crazy and do all sorts of stuff. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. People heavy in the art world, all that stuff. They're like that. To try and compare to real world stuff. Yeah, they're an interesting race because of that. And it's not even just limited to their fashion. They do that to all aspects of their life. They're just very expressive and very out there. They very much value individuality, and they like a joke that they have going on in the pictures in the Spellscale section is they say a typical Spellscale looks something like this, and then on the next page they say, or this, and then on the next page they go, or this, and there's literally like 8 or 9 of them that they just keep doing, and they're all so different. Like, I mean, they all have the same, like, purple skin and all that, but their appearance is very radically different. Like, there's really, the joke is basically, there is no typical Spellscale look, because they all look very different, and that's very deliberate. and they might not even look the same 2 days in a row. They might say, you know what, yesterday I wanted to look like this. Today I'm going to look completely different. Like, they're very out there. They really enjoy just and it's not. It doesn't even come down to just fashion and appearance. They do that with their leisure. They do that with games. They do that with. I was literally just reading that, but they do that with everything. They're just really out there. They like to push the boundaries of and just really express themselves to the fullest. So that's kind of what Spellscales are. It's a really, really interesting race, and they also have an ability where they can actually apparently there's actually a way to like become a Spellscale like later. So and you basically just completely change your race into Spellscale later. So that's an interesting option for anyone who's just bored of their race and decides they want to completely get rid of it, especially if it's something that has like level adjustments that they don't want to have to deal with or stuff like that. Although in that case, your DM might still make you at a lower level, but even like you might not just level up magically for it. Really depends on a lot of things, but even then, like, you're still super low level, and because of the way power leveling works in 3.5, like, you're gonna level up pretty fast. Like, you're gonna catch up real quick when you're a lot lower level. That's just how things are designed in this game. But yeah, like, this race, it's really interesting. Even the meditations, there's so much room for flavor. Like, if you are someone who likes to build character, if you're someone who really likes the character aspect of Dungeons and Dragons, this is a really good race to go with, because this race really gives you a lot of room to make your character somebody that really stands out, somebody that just has a lot of character to them. And in terms of usefulness, they're pretty solid. Like, I'm not going to say they're amazing, but there's some pretty good stuff going on here. Like, no, it's not like, oh yeah, it's the Spellscales. But no, these guys are good. Like, they're at least on par with all the races in the player's handbook, and with the Blood-Quickening, that's pretty useful too. Like, that actually adds a lot of depth to them, and it can really spice up the character and make it so that, oh yeah, you're going for you're running into such and such situation today. Let's do this meditation today to get these bonuses. Oh, we're doing something else another day. Okay, we'll get these meditations. So you can kind of switch up what you're doing on a day-to-day basis to get different bonuses, which is interesting, especially seeing as this is a mostly sorcerer built race. Doesn't have to be. You can go any race. This is any class. I mean, this is, it's a race. Like, you can go anything you want. If you want a multi-class, yeah, you best off sticking with sorcerer, but you can go pure class into anything with no penalties. But sorcerer is really one of the better options. Bard's not a bad option either. A Bard Spellscale would not be a bad choice. But yeah, one reason why I mentioned that, though, is sorcerers don't prepare their spells. They have them all spontaneous. So sorcerer is a fairly easy, it doesn't require a lot of effort to play a sorcerer. You pick your very small list of spells known, and then, you can just use them as you see fit. You don't have to pick, oh, which ones am I preparing today? Because you're not preparing anything. With this, you actually have to put a little thought into, okay, what am I going to do today? How am I going to try and make my character a little different today? So you get that, and I think that balances pretty well with the sorcerers not having to worry about that. They just pick their small list of spells and use whatever they feel like as the situation arises. So yeah, I think it's a great race all in all. It's got a lot of flavor, a lot of personality. If that's your kind of thing, great. Definitely play that up. I personally prefer, the stats, the statistics, the number crunching, and they're solid on that. But, even though I prefer that, I like flavor. When people throw that in, I enjoy that. It's like, yeah, let's throw in some flavor to, spice up this, make it a little more interesting. That's great. Most of my players are the same way as me. They prefer the number crunching, but they like flavor too. Like, almost very few people are going to be like, ew, boring. No. Like, flavor's good. It makes things better. Not everyone wants to focus on it, but throwing a little bit of spice in there, it makes things nice. So, yeah. Tell me what you guys think about the spell scales down in the comments below, because that's about all I've got to say about these guys. If you enjoyed the video or if you like the spell scales, give me a thumbs up, man. I could definitely use the like. Also, if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel for more awesome content just like this. These videos are going to be coming out fairly regularly. If maybe, ring the bell too, because, a lot of people, I know this happens a lot on my channel, they don't get the notifications. So ring the bell so you can get those notifications, because you probably won't see my videos when I come out with something new if you don't. Especially seeing as I have a tendency to, when I do put stuff out, put a few things out at once. So ring the bell so you get notification for all of it, not just whichever one YouTube decides is the one it wants to send out to the subscribers. I don't know how YouTube does it. But anyways, definitely do that. Consider sharing the video if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.